Harry's Wife, Part 102.22. Factchecker, a thankless task. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. We have all read or heard those stories about people who've had a really shitty first day at work. For instance, one gentleman who got mugged on his first night as a pizza delivery guy. Another individual whose first job was at a new buffet in a small town when he was age 14. He was supposed to be a dishwasher, but when he got there for training, he was given a ladder and was told to install dry wall ceiling tiles in the kitchen. Instead, he didn't know what he was doing, fell, and a tile fell on his back. He slipped off the ladder, fell on the ground, and was injured. There's another individual who arrived at the business on the first day to find an eviction notice on the door and a police officer looking for the business owners. Somebody else who worked at a petrol station and accidentally hit the button on the first day that stops all the gas pumps. There was another individual, and on their first day working at a library, although they were 18 years old, they looked rather younger. The first patron came up, and they asked, "Hi, how can I help?" And, as a consequence of that, this person has a real go at this person on their first day because their library card has been deactivated just a few days earlier. And there are many tales of individuals who turn up and their first day is disastrous. And news reaches us that Harry's wife has hired a fact-checker for archetypes as the podcast returns after a 4-week break to mourn the Queen. Well, I think that fact-checker has had a pretty shitty first day in the job as a consequence of the recent allegations about the Korean spa plagiarism. But what is this fact-checker's role? Well, Stacey Eldridge of skynews.com.au writes an article explaining, Harry's wife has hired a fact-checker for her podcast Archetypes as it returns after a 4-week break following Queen Elizabeth II's death. The Duchess of Sussex has signed up award-winning writer and author Nicole Pasulka for the role, according to the Daily Mail. Pasulka's articles about gender, queer culture, activism, and criminal justice have appeared in New York Magazine, Harper's Magazine, and Vice. The report comes after the 41-year-old's podcast, which debuted at number 1, no it didn't, on the Spotify charts in August, made headlines before Her Majesty's death on September the 8th. The podcast launch came 2 years after the former Suits actress and her husband Prince Harry first signed a $30 million deal with the streaming giant. The first episode, with 23-time Grand Slam champion Serena Williams, caused a stir when Harry's wife made a number of digs at the royal family as she spoke about the double standards women face when labelled ambitious. I don't remember ever personally feeling the negative connotation behind the word ambitious until I started dating my now husband, the Duchess said. Apparently ambition is a terrible, terrible thing. For women, that is. According to some, she said. Veteran broadcaster Piers Morgan was among those who took to Twitter to slam the Duchess for the first episode. It's not your ambition we dislike, Princess Pinocchio. It's a vile way you trash the royal family, while simultaneously exploiting your royal status for millions of dollars as with this podcast, Morgan tweeted. The second episode, which featured Mariah Carey, also made headlines when the 5-time Grammy Awards-winning singer and the California-based royal awkwardly disagreed. Discussing the complexities surrounding the term diva, the Dream Lover singer admitted that she thought of Harry's wife as a diva as well. The diva thing, it's not something that I connect to, Harry's wife, 41, said. You give us diva moments sometimes, Harry's wife. Carey, 53, quickly responded. Or rather, Carey, 53, quickly responded. The Duchess of Sussex's next episode featured stand-up comedian, actress, and LGBTQI+ social activist Margaret Cho. So a fact-checker has been hired. Why? Is this because Harry's wife seriously believes that she pumps out nonsense and it has to be checked? No. It's been done quite simply to nullify threats to control based upon suggesting that she says the wrong thing. That she can now point to a fact-checker who, of course, is there purely to carry out Harry's wife's will. She isn't there to stand in an independent role and go, that's incorrect, you've got to change that, you can't say that, because Harry's wife won't countenance that, because she won't listen to anybody. For instance, we know from the reports in Valentine Lowe's publication and also from Tom Bower's Revenge that whenever people tried to help her or point things out, they were ignored, told they were wrong, and were basically bitched at. Take, for example, the recent revelation from courtiers about where Harry's wife explained to somebody that if there's anybody else she could ask to do the job, she would ask them to do it rather than the individual she's speaking to, prompting that individual to burst into tears, such as the nasty way she was spoken to. Harry's wife doesn't take advice because she doesn't need it. Harry's wife knows everything. She knows everything there is to know about Fashion. After all, one only has to look at Kermit Goes to Church, Inspector Gadget Gets Booed, Emoji Pooh Hat, Chairman Mauer Goes to New York, The Bouncing Berry of Harlem, Fridge by Valentino, to recognise that she, of course, is a complete Fashion icon. The fact that she knows everything there is to know about PR and publicising herself is demonstrated by the completely gaff-free way that she sails through life. The fact that she knows all about the provenance of jewels so that she needn't be concerned about the receipt of blood diamonds. Yes, Harry's wife knows everything there is to know, and therefore this fact-checker is only being employed as a means to further assert control over her critics. But how did this fact-checker come to get her position? Well, your glorious narrator has before him the very examination that the fact-checker had to undertake to get into her position. It consists of one page of text which is about Harry's wife, and the instruction is, please place a red circle around all aspects of this text which are incorrect. And the text reads as follows. My name is Harry's wife. I lived as an only child, raised in a Korean spa and the set of General Hospital. I was best friends with Richie Rich, Dora the Explorer, and the Sandlot Kids. Age 7, I contacted NASA, the European Space Agency, and the Canadian Space Agency, and gave them information to build the James Webb Space Telescope. Aged 11, I ensured Procter & Gamble changed an advertisement campaign through the power of my letter writing. They were so impressed, I was then appointed as Long Involved Explanation Officer, or LIE officer for short. My birthday parties were the inspiration for The Great Gatsby, and I was given an internship in Argentina to be recruited for the CIA, but their clothes allowance was disappointing, so I established a world-renowned fashion and food blog called The TIG, where I visited 407 countries, including the Moon Titan, in 6 months. I was appointed Secretary-General of the United Nations on 3 occasions, sitting in for Boutros Boutros-Ghali, Kofi Annan, and Ban Ki-moon when they went on vacations. I have written 72 books and gave J.K. Rowling my notes about a boy wizard called Harry and his adventures at school called Hogwarts. I am a committed vegan who occasionally roasts a chicken, and I have never been on any boats or yachts in my life. The sheet that was completed by the winning candidate who has become the fact-checker has no red circles upon it. And that was described as a completely accurate and 100% pass rate. And there we now understand why the fact-checker has been put in place. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.